The essential question for this lesson is, how do you solve a literal equation? A literal equation is an equation with several variables. So we're going to see problems that have more than one variable in them this time. In Chapter 2, everything we've solved has just had one variable or two variables that were the same. Now we're going to have more than one variable that are different. Alright, so our first example, we're going to solve for b. Our equation is a equals bh. Now you'll notice the rectangle on the left there, and that's because this is a real life equation. The a stands for area, and the b and h stand for base and height. So that equation tells me that the area equals the base times the height. Before we start trying to solve this problem, we're going to figure out which problem that we've already learned and figure out which one it's similar to. So if I look at my possible equations on the right, my top one says x over 4 plus 9 equals 8. Well, if I look at my equation a equals bh, we don't have anything with a fraction. So I'm going to get rid of that one. The next one is 15 equals 5 times x. Well, we've got 5 times x, and we know this is b times h. That's possible. Let's check out the last one, though, first. X plus 5 equals 10. So this one we have adding. We don't have any adding in our area equals base times height, so I'm going to X that one off. And that must mean that this equation is most similar to that one. Now if I think about 15 equals 5 times x, I know that if I want to get x by itself, I have to break up the couple, which would mean divide. I'm going to do that exact same step on this problem over here. I'll draw my train tracks. I know I have base times height, so the opposite would be dividing on both sides. If I want to solve for b, I have to get rid of the h, so I'm going to divide both sides by h. These h's cancel. I'm left with b equals a over h. And I'm done. That's my answer. I know I did this right if what I'm solving for, b, matches what I was supposed to solve for. So always make sure when you're done that what you solved for matches what you were supposed to solve for. Alright, solve for w. This is also a real life equation, and it stands for volume equals length times width times height. This one is similar to the last one because it's all multiplication. So if I look at my problems on the right here that it might be similar to, we have addition, so it's not that one. Addition, it's not that one, it's this one again, multiplication. So if I'm solving for w, I need to get rid of the L and H. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. Now here's something new. You can actually get rid of the L and the H at the same time. I'm going to make a cursive L so I don't get it confused with a 1. So then the L's cancel. The h's cancel, and I'm left with w on the right, and I'm left with v divided by LH on the left. I'll check and make sure, did I solve for the right variable? I've got a w alone here, and I was supposed to solve for w, so I know I did that correct. Solve for b. This time we have a triangle. This formula is area equals base times height divided by 2. Let's look at our similar equations and figure out which one is right. Well, this one has a fraction, which ours does, but we don't have a plus sign, so I'm going to get rid of that one. The middle one has a fraction, that's a possibility. The bottom one has a plus. We don't have any pluses in our problem, so I'm going to get rid of that. This is the problem that it's most similar to. So think about if I wanted to get x alone, this is x divided by 6. To get rid of the fraction, I would times both sides by 6. So let's do the same on our problem. Draw our train tracks. If you want to, you can circle your couple now, because it's becoming couple and third wheel. If I want to get rid of the 2, times both sides by 2. So just like we times both sides by 6, we're going to times both sides by 2. So 2 times a is 2a. Those are gone, and I'm left with BH. Now if I want to break up my couple, remember we're solving for b. This is b times h, so I've got to get rid of the h. The h's are gone over here. I'm left with b equals 2a over h. Check and make sure I solve for the right variable, b and b. Solve for y. Z equals 2x plus 2y. This is our first example where we don't have a real life equation. Draw my train tracks, then look over at the equations on the right. Well, we've got 40 equals 5x, but this time we have a plus in there. So I'm going to say it's not that one. This one has a plus, but it also has a fraction. We don't have a fraction, so I'm going to get rid of that one. The bottom one, we've got a plus sign. That looks like it could be right. Here is the important part about this problem. You have to figure out who your couple is. And your couple is always whatever you're solving for. So if you're solving for y, that's who your couple is. So my couple, I'm going to erase the circle around my plus sign so we don't get that mixed up. My couple is 2y. We have to get rid of our third wheel, which is the 2x. So we have to think about, how do I get rid of 2x? You might be thinking that you have to divide because it's 2 times x, which is a common mistake. But if we look at this problem over here, if 5x is my couple, how do I get rid of my third wheel? I'm subtracting. So that's what we have to do with the 2x. Subtract it from both sides. So I'm left with z minus 2x. We can't subtract those because they're not like terms. Those would make 0. Bring down your 2y. Now we have to get y alone, so we break up our couple. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Those cancel. I'm left with y equals z minus 2x over 2. There isn't any more simplifying I can do. Leave that how it is. Solve for y, and yep, that was what I was supposed to solve for. All right, solve for m. This one is just like the last one. So that means it's just like this couple and third wheel problem. If I'm solving for m, that's my couple, so I'm going to circle the 4n. That means my third wheel is the negative 3n. To get rid of it, I'm going to add 3n to both sides. These make 0. Bring down the 4n. Leave it as 8 plus 3n. Do not add them. They're not like terms. They both have to have an n next to them to be combined. Break up your couple by dividing by 4. And you're left with m equals 8 plus 3n over 4. Again, you don't need to simplify it all. Just leave that how it is. Summary.